I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Happy Tuesday. It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by our friends at Happy State Bank. Thank you for making us a part of your afternoon sports talk. I'm Clint Scott. He's Dr. Mike Gustafson. Kyler Brown behind the glass. That is DJ Puddin. The Texas Rangers will be in action tonight, 6:30 right here on Double T 97.3. Astros and Angels, 100.7 the score, 6:40. 3 hours with us, 3.5, I should say. We'll lead you all the way up to that Rangers matchup live here in the First United Bank studio. You can join us today on the program on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can also call us on the Visual Edge IT hotline. 806-771-0973 is that number. If you would like to watch us, we're on Fox 34 News now. We're also on youtube.com/Double T Sports Network. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. Just look up Double T 97.3 or Double T Sports Network. Well, let's see. What time did that email go out? Somewhere around 9 o'clock, I think. The word hit. The big word. Donavan Atwell.
Yes.
Donavan Atwell back as a Red Raider. And it's something we've been speculating for, 2 weeks, something like that. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. However long we've been speculating, now we can just look to this roster as a true Final Four contender.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
crazy, man.
Every player that you've added over the past couple of weeks has made you significantly better, and Donavan Atwell is no different. I mean, you're bringing back the best single season three-point shooter you've had at Texas Tech. You're also bringing back an instantly perimeter defense. That's something else I'm excited about. So,
that's it. I mean,
crazy.
It's easy to the highlighty thing that we think about when we think about him is getting off those quick shots and draining them from all over the place, right?
Right.
And but down the stretch last year, it was his defense that was so impressive. And I would be curious to know this, but how much of a role did his defense play in NBA decisions? I mean, in the NBA opportunity that he had being in camp with the Bulls, but because I don't think he came here with that reputation. I don't think he came here with the reputation of being a really good defender. Now, somebody might have seen him and go, "Hey, he'll be fine once we get him in our system." Blah blah blah. But
I think everything
he ended up being our guy.
Conversation around him. With that, and I think this was from the just the backcourt that you were bringing in, is like the words that I saw were like almost like measurements. It's just like length, long for a guard, but you never heard from anybody. Donavan Atwell, obviously, this is the conversation on him, but you didn't hear anybody that you were bringing in from your backcourt start with but he's really good as a one-on-one defender. He's really good with perimeter he's a lockdown defender. You just heard some potential with the length and the size kind of conversation, and you were just or at least I won't speak for you. I was expecting Grant McCaslin to, if any of them had faults defensively, to make them as good as possible, and if they weren't good enough to play defensively, then they weren't going to be on the court. And you saw some of that last year with some other players, but Donavan Atwell really bloomed into that. And I feel like, if I'm remembering correctly, it was the BYU game here where he started to really feel like, that dude has really taken ownership defensively, all while just being uber effective shooting the ball. So crazy to have him back.
Agree. I mean,
happy to have him back.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yes. Just where I mean, I think there was an element of, there was a lot of uncertainty around this roster back in June.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking, hey, we're going to get Momo, which was the big guy, the first targeted big guy from Europe, and it's not all bad because it wasn't just 3 empty uniforms. Go fill them with some guys that were headed off to some group of 5 school.
Mm-hmm.
So we call it group of 6. What are we calling them? What are we? Mid-major? We call them mid-major and hoops.
Mid-major.
Group
Mid-major
of 5
and
in
hoops
football.
is
Is that all
yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I'd stick with mid-major
Yeah.
for basketball.
And maybe some guys that hadn't committed late, whatever. We get some freshmen in here, see if one of them blossoms, and it's hard to win in the Big 12, the bunch of freshmen, and that's kind of where we were.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll be okay. Momo's going to help, and then, boy, when Toppin gets back, it'll be fun to watch this team. And the narrative has just changed considerably, right?
I mean, you've gone from a month ago, my expectations of going like, well, I think the backcourt and at least the front end of your front court when JT Toppin's there, they're good enough to compete for like a top 5 spot in the Big 12. Solidly a tournament team, but I wouldn't be surprised if also they finished 7th or 8th in the league and we're still in the tournament, right? Just because you were so thin in other spots, and now it's like you added the size that you did, and like, all right, this is absolutely a team that should be competing towards the top of the Big 12, and now you should be 6 or higher as a seed, and then Donavan Atwell is enough to push you to like with or without JT Toppin. I think he's enough the way that these pieces fit together now to be like, yeah, this is a team that can make a run to the Final Four. A team that is not like, should be competing with top 5 in the Big 12. No, you should be competing for a Big 12 championship. Doesn't mean you'll win one, but
right, yeah.
you shouldn't
for
be.
That and
you should be in the race the whole time.
And second weekend and trying to win the Big 12. I mean, it feels like that's the floor, and barring some crazy injury, and believe me, there will be difficulties along the way. Illinois coming to town, you're playing Duke. Duke will probably have last year's deal circled, and whatever. But yeah, those. But regardless, those expectations are heightened.
That's another way to put it. It went from like,
gracious.
boy, I hope you're competitive at home against Illinois, or I hope you're competitive against Duke. Like, I expect you to be competitive, and you're going to have every opportunity to win games like that in the non-con.
I'm excited. I'm excited for all of it to get cranked up.
It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. The Juice coming up next.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
When's the last time you let out just a real good la 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 bamba?
I thought you were going to say like a primal scream.
Oh yeah, that. When's the last time you
Clint.
walked out of this building at 6 o'clock and then opened your car door, sat down, let the air kind of let it cool down, and then just
Better
let
yet,
all your emotions out.
sit in the car with the windows up and no air, and you might scream before you pass out.
Scream help.
Exactly.
I mean, you could scream if you just like touch the old seatbelt. I feel like metal has been taken out of a lot of the cars up front, but like the old, I just remember my mom's car just being like a death trap in the summer. Couldn't touch anything, or else you just hear like. Fun stuff. Donavan Atwell back in the house. The DA of Trey, that from Dutch.
Nice.
Been one of those days. Let's hear some Clint clip from Down Goes Clint. Well, I'm sorry, it's been one of those days. Hopefully Kyler obliging will help pick it up. Yeah, it's too bad. Glad you're listening, though. Glad you're listening. Donavan Atwell back in the mix on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can give us what does that do to your season expectations, and really you can just say, you can answer what the last maybe week and a half has done with Jermichael Stillwell and Darian Williams. What does that do for your baseline season expectation for Red Raider men's basketball? And the first take we're going to get before we go to the chat line and get those, the doctor of the hardwood, Mike Gustafson.
I would think that the answer. Well, I'll say this about Atwell. Are you concerned about anyone who came here thinking Atwell was gone? Is there anyone coming in
like
going,
from the transfer portal going like, this isn't
of those
what I
dudes
signed
going,
up
"Hey,
for?
Whoa, yeah. Now, the good news is school starts on Monday. Right? I mean, see, the school starts in 6 days.
You know.
So, how much? Yeah, that's just the question. That's really not directed at any one person. Like, watch out for Joe Blow. But, man, it's awful late.
You know, I wouldn't be worried about it for, like, Cruz Davis, because I think he's going to be your starting point guard.
Right.
You know, what about, like Damarian Dennis or Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn, who go from, like, maybe we could be the second guard to, like, are we going to see? Well, it's going to be hard to play everybody. Like, this is the good problem that you run into. Like, Dakari Spears, a freshman coming in there. Not really worried about him as much, but that's a good question. I think it, like, what was promised to them? Were there any promises? I doubt that with the amount of guards that you added from the freshman level to the transfer portal that Grant McCasland told every single one of them, like, hey, come here, you're going to be a starter. Absolutely. I would venture to guess that there was a level of you're going to have to still compete for a spot, and if you want to be on the court, you're going to have to do this, this, and this. Not just start, but, like, to play significant minutes. Yeah. You're going to have to do this, this, and this to be a Red Raider. So, you know, the other side of this conversation, too, is a lot of these guys that are coming came with multiple years to play. So it's not like this is their final year. And all of a sudden, actually, I don't even think that there's a way to find your way out of the roster the way that the rules are in place, because it's not like there's a coaching change with this or anything. But, you know, if there are any sour grapes over it, again, I'm not saying there are. In fact, I don't think there are. I don't think that's the type of player that Coach Grant McCasland will be bringing in. I think he's a culture guy too, and has done a good job of, you know, finding guys like that. But if there is any of that, well, Gus, you've got a couple months to iron all that out and get everything in shape.
Right.
Get everything ironed out.
And what you mean by that is a couple months of before games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And once the season starts, I mean, I know the rules aren't what they used to be, but I don't know that somebody can just roll into town on October 1st and go, I'm leaving. I'm going over here. It's about the only thing that's left, right?
Right.
About the only frontier that hasn't been broached.
The final frontier.
Yes.
It's Star Trek, right?
Yes.
The Star Trek of basketball is it's what you just gave the people.
Yes.
That's what you were going for.
I think, yeah, man, you know me, it's full of those references. I just, yeah, that's just something to think about, because if had this happen, and again, I don't think that this was done I don't think this was done deceitfully in a way that we're like, oh man, they told me this and then they went and did that. Well, no, the courts did some things, and now things can be emotional if you're a player going, hey, I came here as the best two guard, and now I'm not.
Yeah.
What's the deal? This is what I signed up for. But it'd be hard to act like they lied to me when they brought me in here in March, and then on August 17th they.
Well, I'd love to know. Guess what?
The courts changed things.
You knew that they were going to look for a European player, right? Like that was rumored from pretty much the whole time you were putting this roster together. You know, I wonder. And this is where I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in these conversations. And there's some of this for like football too, but specifically with the 5-for-5 stuff. Like, how much was the pairing of Grant McCasland and Kellen Buffington going like, we really think this is going to pass, and when it does, we're going to have a spot for, even if it wasn't exactly JaMychal Stillwell or Darian Williams and Donavan Atwell, if it was just any players like that they had on their board, or it could have been very specific, who knows, but if they were of that thinking, you would think that there would have been honest discussions with like a Gibbs Lawhorn.
Yeah, just letting you know.
Like,
Yeah.
any of those guys that they brought in.
It's hard to imagine they had this in mind, because the very earliest versions of the 5-for-5 thing ruled these dudes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this. The NCAA side of the argument is what's happening here is just what we're talking about. A bunch of dudes that are committed to a place are now pushed out by 50 guys coming back.
Well, they're still on the roster. Just
Not in all cases. But
well,
yes,
for
at
us,
Texas Tech, we're good.
For us, we're
Yes.
good. We're fine. They did it. They did it smart. More TikTok next.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk. Thanks for joining us here on Double T 97.3. We appreciate it. Clint Scott and Dr. Mike Gustafson, Kyler Brown behind the glass, taking care of us. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions, expectations now that the basketball roster has been put together, specifically with the additions of Jermichael Stillwell, Darian Williams, and most recently Donavan Atwell, which hit last night. What does that do for your expectations? Did it change them? What were they to start? Maybe you've been natty or bust the whole time. Who knows? And we got this thought on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. From no tourney to natty, 3 natties this year. Book it.
Oh,
That would be amazing.
Wow.
I'll just take one.
I'll take it. I
Right.
like it.
I don't think Atwell can transfer because he was never in the portal. Yeah, I think by the books, Donovan Atwell, yeah, he can't enter the transfer portal. It was pretty much the way that it was written from the Colorado judge that if he was coming back, since he didn't enter the portal, it would be at the previous school, which would be the Red Raiders. But I really don't think that. I don't think he would have been one that would have been looking to leave Texas Tech, because you had a system set up for him to succeed, start there. But also, he felt like the kind of player that, like a Tariq Owens type, that was here for a year and really felt like he was enjoying the Lubbock community and just being a Red Raider. And I as long as you had a spot for him, I don't think he would have moved on.
I think you're correct and you're right. My just is kind of random, but a friend of mine, he works at a shoe store down at the mall, and Red Raiders go in there all the time. And Donavan Atwell actually went in there, and this was months ago. And my friend was asking him, like, "Hey man, it's like, big fan. Can I expect to see you next year? This and that." And he basically said, like, "I want to be here. So I love it here. I love the people. I love the program. I love the fans. I want to be here." He's like, "But right now it's not looking too good." And that was, like I said, months ago. So man, I was literally just texting my friend earlier, and we're both very, very excited for the season.
And that, just to be clear, that had to do, probably him saying doesn't look too good meant the courts.
The court
yeah,
process
what was
of
in the
everything,
court,
right,
the
yeah.
legals, not Coach Mack doesn't like me or something like that. That was having to do with the all the legal stuff, rulings and whatnot.
Does this, if he plays another year, does this help his like NBA draft stock? Does it change? It didn't hurt it. Because, we saw him go through the process this year and obviously go through more than just the process. It's not like he pulled his name out. Like, doesn't get drafted this year. He felt like a rising stock player through like the combine and stuff like that. But, it's never a guarantee. And then obviously looks at and decides to not do the Exhibit 10 route with the Bulls and the chance of going up and down and probably more financially taken care of with the option here to be at Texas Tech. But
this is certain money as opposed to that the up and down contract deal.
Yeah,
and this is probably more money. I have no idea what we're paying him, but even if it's the same money, this is guaranteed. If he goes up there and stinks it up and gets cut, that's not guaranteed, I don't believe.
Yeah,
could be speaking out of turn. My guess is he's making considerably more here than he would be on that contract. I don't know. I don't know that it casts doubt on his status as a prospect. Let's assume he gets through this upcoming season with a decent performance and good health. All right, there's no he's not torn up anything in a way that you go, oh, he's lost a step after that catastrophic injury or something. I mean, let's assume that. The only thing that a year from now might involve, or 10 months from now, I guess, is more younger, healthy bodies behind him in the draft process.
Right.
It'd be hard to imagine that there's anything that he would do that would really change his prospects in a big way. Could he be a slightly better defender? Sure, maybe there could be some slight improvements. But you see what I'm saying? Like he'll be a fifth-year guy. It's hard to look at him and go, he's going to go 3 more inches. He's going to gain 20 more pounds. He's going to become a better shooter after years in college and good competition. I mean, it feels like he kind of will be what he is, and which may be the kind of guy that can hang around basketball and play professionally. Maybe that's not running up and down the court in the NBA. I don't know. Hope so for him. But like the most certain path to a paycheck for him right now involves college, which imagine saying that 5 years ago. But here we are. And so it's I mean, it's kind of the same math Toppin went through a couple years ago. He could go to the NBA, got a chance, showing up on some mock drafts. Hey, here's some certain money to not only finish college, but Toppin's going to be interesting too, because he's going to, I'm going to say mess around. I don't mean literally mess around, but he's going to mess around and be in college long enough to like, hey, look, a degree, a diploma. And again, that may, will he need it? Will he not? Does he have enough money in the bank? He never have to work a day. Who knows? But that's his business. But suddenly he's going to have been around college, and Atwell will too. Like suddenly you're going to be around college long enough that just by making the progress you have to make each year to get to eligibility and that stuff, you're going to look up and go, hey, this is it. Which we saw, who was our shooting guard 2 years ago? Transferred here from North Carolina.
McMillan?
Nope. North Carolina, grew up in Minnesota. See, we talked about this yesterday. Kerwin Walton, thank you.
Yes. There we go.
Like, remember, he graduated, and it was kind of the same thing. Like, hung around college long enough, and like, hey, look, a diploma, which is really cool because there are some instances in which those dudes may go, man, I sure would like to go back to college and, coach or go be an assistant. My junior college called this and that. Well, sorry, you don't have a degree. Well, got a degree, right?
Just for like his draft, for the question, it doesn't hurt his draft. Like, can he massively improve what he has seen this year, right? Going through the process and not being drafted. And this is probably like not a great comparison. It's just kind of a thought that popped in my mind whenever the segment started. Like Yaxel Lindeborg, who just wins a national championship, just won a national championship and was the 11th pick in the first round. What was he going into, like, his last year at UAB? Because I don't think he was even on draft boards.
That's crazy.
Right?
Is he a young dude, though?
No, he played at least a year of JUCO and 2 years at UAB before Michigan. So he was at least a 4-year guy, if not a 5-year guy.
That's fascinating. I'll revisit that topic.
This is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, it's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank. Clint, Gus, and Kyler. Keep hitting us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Whatever you got. This texter said, I thought I heard Rudy was at Wayland Baptist now. Not sure. Who? Rudy from the movie Rudy. Just making a little transfer joke there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I liked it.
Got it.
Is he going to, jump off sides again, or is he going to actually play by the rules? I don't know what that ref was looking at. It's like a good full step. Because that entire time hasn't played it down, and all of a sudden he has the jumping skills of, Von Miller? Yeah, right. Get out of here with that. This on the 8th Flooring Center chat line. Bullfighter asked, who was faster, Bolt or the Freeze in the foul pole race?
That's right.
What's your preferred, like, in-between inning race? Presidential, the dots, Freeze?
Well,
I like the presidents. I like the big head presidents.
Yeah, the Freeze is different just because it's a real race. Our version is good here that they do at Tech baseball games with the two usually like Tech student type deals. They don't run old men out there. But yeah, they race from foul pole to foul pole in between innings.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, you'll get a good Valiant comeback.
Oh, this actually was talking about Rudy Maskew. My bad. I thought it was just a joke.
Oh,
Maskew.
okay, sorry,
Really?
yeah.
My
So
bad.
now we're back to, let's see, Rudy. Somebody's saying Rudy's at Wayland?
That's what this texter said.
Wow. Okay. Let's just look him up. All right, Cracky.
How about that? While you're doing that, let's go to Kyler for a play of the day.
There's been a lot of perimeter dribbling for the Red Raiders. Petty on Cada. Into the right corner, a three. Bang! Donavan Atwell says, have that one! Chris has handled the head of the ball, looking right, finds Atwell, peeling, right corner three. Bang! His 100th of the season. Petty's going to drive it straight down the key. Back it out. It goes. 40! A guns up three ball! Donavan Atwell!
Oh, yeah.
He's back. I'm so excited for this basketball season. I was excited for it prior to Donavan Atwell re-signing back. Sounds so weird to say. I'm excited for this year, man. This roster is really come together at the beginning of the summer. Really, we kind of sat here like we don't have a team. What are we gonna do? Like everybody was kind of like calling for additions to the team, calling for them to hit the transfer portal, and fast forward to now, we've got a really good roster on our hands, so I'm very excited for this basketball season.
You know, so at the end of the last segment, I was just bringing up Yaxel Lindeborg just for this reason alone. Maybe I'm dead wrong on this. I don't remember seeing his name on any sort of like draft boards or anything like that before, and not that, you know, Donavan Atwell has played at this level now, right? He's performed at this level, and again, these are two different types of players too, but if he puts up the same sort of numbers, like if he puts up the same exact sort of season from a shooting and defender standpoint, you're going to win a bunch of games. Can a deep tournament run, can that do something for him where like he goes in the draft the second go around? It's just weird to have this sort of conversation, but this is where you are. Like, would the same sort of season plus team success be like, oh, you know, the wins will give him a bump? Or is it like, no, like what happened going through this cycle of the NBA draft, like that's what the cap is, and he'll have to go through kind of the Exhibit 10 stuff again? Because there's not really, for him as an older player and just who he is and the type of player he is, I'm sure there's some things like, hey, we'd like you to work on this, this, and this. But when you're coming in as like what I would call as a specialty guy, that might sound like I'm boxing him in, but I mean like as a 3-and-D kind of guy in the NBA, okay, do 3-and-D better. like what's the seriously, what's the feedback there?
Agree?
We need you to make 20 more threes this year in the college level.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what would change, because he performed well on the biggest of college stages last year. That doesn't mean he played in the Final Four. I'm just saying, like, running through this Big 12 schedule, I would think gave every NBA evaluator the opportunity to go, okay, he is this and this, and he's lacking in this and this, right? Mm-hmm. As opposed to your guy Lindeborg, maybe who ran through the first 3 years of college. My guess, maybe he was a tall, skinny guy his first year in junior college, and then at, where did we say, Samford? UAB?
UAB.
Yeah.
UAB for 2
maybe
years.
He did that for a year or two there, and maybe he wasn't necessarily unlocked or best utilized, and all of a sudden you looked up 3 years in and like, hey, he's starting to look like an NBA player. and then he gets to better competition and does what he did against better competition in a way and now he's 22 or 21 and there you go, 23 instead of 19, and so the weight gain and all the things that we talked about at 19 are in place, and suddenly you go, that guy's a player. Like that, we don't have to dream on this and this and this. Over time, he developed those things and became a real guy. Whereas like Atwell's doing it at this level right now, in a way that I don't know that there's any mystery left.
And really, you've got a handful of. I mean, you've got a couple of guys you're trying to do that now with, right? Like Darian Williams probably in that same boat. Although obviously Donavan Atwell goes much further in that process. I mean, I don't know about like Jermichael Stillwell, but if he dreams of being in the NBA, getting another year with a really good team certainly isn't going to hurt that. But Donavan Atwell was just such an interesting case. But we'll see. The fun thing is we get to figure that out, right? We get to test that, and I think you'll get to test it with an incredibly successful season. So
I agree. Great problem to have.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line resident asked if Wilson had enough boys for a football team. Ouch.
I do have it on good authority that Mo Evans, in fact, texted, and Rudy is retired. Coach Maskew is retired from all of it.
From all of it.
Not at Wayland, not at the 1A Wilson or 6-man Wilson, whatever, 1A. He's alive and well and enjoying his retirement.
Good.
And he's 70 years old. He's Thetford's age, so he's more than 70. He's earned a break. Speaking of Mo Evans, if you're wanting like a good event this coming Friday, like in 3 days, that thing that he's a part of. If you know Mo Evans, like ask him, hey, what are you doing Friday night? Because it's that meets event that I tell you about every year.
Oh, yeah.
That thing is cool, man. Cool. And it is fun. And that is happening this Friday over at the Pavilion across the street from the basketball arena, Texas Tech basketball arena, and United Supermarket arena. That's a good setup over there. If you like beer and red meat, and it's good for Texas Tech scholarships and meat judging kids and all that stuff. A lot of reasons to like it. Good job, Mo Evans.
More Tech Talk coming up next.
I like beer.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. We just had that intro there, and every time I think of that call, I think of how awesome the Harold of Crabtree call is in general, but the thing that just sticks in my head, we were talking about earworms the other day, just random things, and I have a whole long list of them, but it's hard for me to come up with them off the top of my head until it happens, and I'm like, oh, that's one. I just had one because Sonny Cumby just yelling, unbelievable, like in the background, which is so awesome. Sometimes if I hear the word unbelievable, that's how I play it back in my head. Yeah, that's good stuff. Give us your earworms. That was a weird way to ask that. Things that get stuck in your head. Let me try that again. Give us the lines or random things you just shout into the ether because they've been burnt in your brain for so long. Clint, Gus, and Kyler. We're going to 6:30 maybe if we make it there. Rangers and Nationals head-to-head tonight as the series starts tonight. The Rangers were off yesterday. The Astros were off yesterday as well. They'll face the Angels, 640, 100.7 the score. Let's get some thoughts from the defensive coordinator, Shiel Wood, as we're getting our list of coaches kind of cycle through their opportunity talking to the media. And for Coach Wood, as I talked about earlier, the first thing I want to hear from him is him talking about the safeties.
I think at the end of the day, BJ is going to do a phenomenal job for us like he did last year, and he's going to be a guy that can overlap positions for us. I think that Malik and Peyton and Oliver are all doing a great job being consistent and doing the things necessary to put themselves in a position to impact the defense and win their matchup. You know, it may be one of those things where it'll take a little bit of time once we get the ball games going and it's, you know, lights are on and it's time to line up and finish and tackle a guy to the ground and play in pressure situations before we can really determine ultimately how all that's going to shake out. But I really like their approach right now. I think Coach Green's doing a phenomenal job of helping them develop and demanding a lot from them each and every day. So they're all on the right track.
Through the spring, it certainly seems like Peyton Morgan is the leader in that race, but I don't know like how much of a lead that is, or if it still is when it reset here in August, if it was back to like everybody's starting from the same spot. And I wonder maybe if that is going to be one of those that, you know, you're figuring out who looks the best between ACU and Oregon State. We'll see. But and this is where it's good to have an experienced player like Brendan Jordan, who would be, again, if it's Malik Escara, would be moving to one safety. If it's Peyton Morgan, would be moving to the other spot. So, you know, it's a good thing that he is so flexible and dynamic, because I think a lot of other players, that would really be hard, even if it's just 2 weeks against teams that you expect to hammer, to be like, all right, well, this week also you're going to move over here just to see what this looks like, you know?
Love, flexibility. I don't know. That's a big deal in any sport. I don't mean like the physical quality of being flexible, but
that helps, though.
Maybe versatility is a better word.
Yeah.
It plays in every sport. It matters in every sport. This time last year, we were celebrating John Curry's ability to go from linebacker to star.
Mm-hmm.
And what would happen along the way? Well, if this injury happens, he can move here. And those, like, a couple of those dudes are always important.
Yeah.
It just is. And, you know, you'll hear this in NFL a lot, too. Guys who can play slot corner, the safety, linebacker, you know, to be able to defend to the scheme they play, it's, you know, it matters.
Mm-hmm.
It matters. Love what we're hearing there. And Clint, that could, like he said, that could be a competition that goes all the way to, or an evaluation that runs all the way up to scrimmages where we take everyone to the ground, like, you know, because the first scrimmage we talked about it was a little more thud, right? Just hey, this thing's not going to get decided right now, and so we may get to standing those two dudes off and going, hey, you two, somebody's going to win that job today. Good luck. Yeah. Go get them. I mean, like, you create the internal pressure, but you could also be that thing could be this close in a way that, hey, bust the coverage against ACU and see what happens. Like, somebody else is going in like, this thing could play out for a while. So we've seen this with kickers over the last couple years. Okay, you get one, you get one, you get one. Oh, you missed one. Okay, there we go. And then it settles itself.
It's like have Oprah as a coach.
I like it.
You get a chance.
Yes, perfect.
You can play.
Do it.
Let's go from the secondary up to the defensive front. And Coach Wood talked about the skill sets of Trey White and Adam Trick, and knowing that he's still in good hands despite losing Bailey and Height.
David and Romelo last year, golly, I mean, hard to replace guys like that, you know. They did such a great job for us, so explosive, both of them. But I'm going to tell you what, Trey White, Adam Trick, Jamon Mathis, LaDamian Guyton, you know, Ansel, Charles Anderson, I mean, all those guys are doing a great job. I think Coach Smith, our outside linebackers coach, is doing – CJIU did a great job for us last year, but Coach Smith, I really like how he coaches. I think he's very concise and to the point. It makes it really easy for those guys to understand what he wants. I think he's doing a great job of continuing to develop their arsenal as far as their pass rush goes. And I really think right now both Coach Smith and Coach Alberry are doing a great job with our entire front being tied in and rushing as a unit. And then, to be honest with you, I think that right now we may be doing that better than we did at any point last year, And so, credit goes to the guys in the inside and on the edge. But I'm excited to see what we're going to be able to do, putting pressure on the quarterback. I really think we're going to be able to affect him with 4 guys up front. And when you can do that and play 7 guys in coverage, that's a big bonus.
Man, that excites me. And to those who aren't watching on TV, when he was naming off all the defensive ends, Clint was like doing fingers like 1, 2, 3, and you got
to
up
go
to
to a
6.
second hand.
Yes,
yeah,
you got up to 6. And cool among that was hearing Mr. Guyton, who's been on campus for a week, literally like a week and a half. Yeah, that's awesome.
I have a thought about the defense because, and I get it. You're comparing to the best defense you've ever had. How close can you get? And I think in one department, you can be even better. You might already be. It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
This has been the Tech Talk Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.